So what is somatic dance? So first of all, what isn't it? It isn't just straightforward exercise. It isn't just following a routine. Ballet is an interesting example because when I first started learning ballet as a child, you know, when you learn anything in the beginning, martial arts, whatever, you have to learn the foundation. It can be a bit dull, same with learning music. So you learn all the structure and then that kind of sets you free to get more into the feeling and the sensation and the joy of what you're doing. But with ballet, especially because that's where I've come from, it's very focused on the aesthetic. Yes, the emotion, the story, the feeling, but it has to look beautiful, and it is, it's stunning to look at. But the pain that dancers go through, the way that they push their bodies, not just with ballet, for example with martial arts. My martial arts teacher, my kung fu teacher used to say, no pain, no gain. Boy, did we go through some pain. You go through that pain. Same with yoga. It's not about going through pain, but some of the more regimental yoga practices, the teachers really push to the point where there's a lot of injury involved, and it's not healthy. You know, pushing, feel the burn, my Iyengar teacher used to say, very established senior student of Iyengar. Feel the burn, no pain, no gain. You know, in ballet, it's like you're pushing and forcing your feet into these blocks to dance on your toes, which looks so beautiful. It's so unsomatic. It's all about the external. It's not the internal. And again, it's kind of a bit of a metaphor for life when we are so focused on our external, what we've achieved, what we physically, materially have, what other people think of us, how we show up in the world, what is our, you know, our follower count, what's this, what's all the external stuff. Somatics is about the internal. It's about being connected and really being aware with what's going on inside of us. And so with somatic dancing, it's a way of going deeper. Now, my practice, what I teach is neo-dance, which is a slightly different again, but I'll go on to that in a moment. Somatics come from soma, the Greek word for our living body. Now, our living body is our physical, our mental, our emotional, and our spiritual being. 4 levels of being. And all of these are connected for us to be able to be somatically aware. So, of course, not of course, but a lot of exercise is just purely on the physical, you know, and using almost with a military discipline to get our bodies to do certain things. That's such a disconnect. Whereas when we're moving and connecting into ourselves, we are completely listening to what's happening within us, and there's this two-way conversation going on. And because our mind and body are intrinsically connected through our whole nervous system, all the talk about nervous regulation, calming our nervous system, all of that is apparent. But apart from that, beyond that, that's the somatic science, if you like, we also have our energetic being. So I've studied the yoga in India, all the meditative practices. I'm Chinese, and so we have the concept of qi. In India, it's prana, ki. And there are so many other words for energy in our body. And so with somatic dance and with neo-dance, because I bring in my Eastern roots, my time spent in India, the Western science, the somatics that I've studied, and the flow, the joy, the freedom, that Taoist spontaneity that's in my culture as well, that all becomes a part of it. So yes, we have ecstatic dance. We have 5 rhythms because Gabrielle Roth was quite instrumental in bringing more free flow dance into this world for people who haven't explored it in other sort of subcultures. Yes, there are so many other conscious dances, and they all help us to access ourselves to different degrees, to different levels, using slightly different frameworks of awareness. And with somatic dance, you're accessing yourself on a deep, deep level so that you get to really listen in and hear what's going on for yourself. You sense, you feel, you experience, you explore. Now, this concept might be quite scary for some of you. In fact, I was at an event not long ago and I was dancing, and it was kind of more of a samba music event, which is not my normal go-to. I'm not familiar with it, and I was dancing with this woman and who obviously was very accomplished, very confident, really enjoying herself, doing all the slick samba moves. And I told her what I do with the dance, and she went, "Oh, I couldn't do that." And I was like, "Oh, why?" I said, "Is that a bit scary?" Oh yeah. I said, "What, because you're scared to explore deeper?" So that was quite interesting for me, because we can have the safety of the structure, and then when we explore deeper, we're a little bit scared of what we might uncover. So actually, there is a structure within it. We have the structure of our bodies. I have created different internal structures for us to focus on that are connected to the chakras. I have also created a whole body map of structures that support us, that's linked to the chakras, that's linked to somatics, that's linked to energetic practices. And also, a big part of it is just actually giving yourself permission to really just fully let go and enjoy yourself. Now, even the idea of letting go or fully letting go might be quite scary for some people. They're afraid, because it's an alien concept, to let go. When I've given treatments in the past, even asking someone to just completely relax and let go, to let go and lie in Shavasana, to let go and let me hold their head, the strain, the tension in the neck, because we're so used to holding on and holding on. And so the idea of actually letting go can be quite scary. And the flip side of that is actually, it's so liberating. It's actually a relief. It's releasing. Because when we hold on, it's almost like it's more familiar, it feels safer, when actually all it does is just create this barrier, this block and this boundary, when actually if we just exhale and release, the most important part is releasing this to give ourselves the permission to fully open. That's what somatic dance and neo dance can do. Now, I'm holding a 3-day series, Reclaim Your Creative Power Somatic Dance Journey, January 20th to the 22nd. The first day, we will find our clarity by embodying. I have a 3-part framework. With neo dance, you embody, then you alchemize, which means that you connect into your energy, your patterns, so that you can start to move them and change them and release them. So that's day 2. We build our momentum, and then day 3, we go into part 3 of my framework of express. So what we do is we give ourselves the permission to express, and from that place of being embodied, having released, being able to express, having momentum, we can gain new clarity and we can gain new direction. It's 2026, it's a new year, a time for new directions. Are you ready to branch out? Join this series below. I can't wait to see you on it. I'd love to have you there. We're going to have a great time.